What is the worst kind of narcissist that you could possibly imagine? That you could ever encounter? Well, I put together what I consider to be the 12 traits of the worst kind of narcissist that you're ever going to face. Now, keep in mind that I'm pushing 70 years old. I've been around a few decades. I was going to say a day or two. I've been around a decade or two, or about 7 decades, come to think of it. And what I'm doing here is what is called autodidactic. I am just taking what I have learned from life's experience, what I call my life's laboratory, and I'm sharing with you what I have learned, because wherever you are in life, if you're a kid, if you're a teenager, if you're a middle-aged adult, older adult like me, chances are I have been there, I have experienced what you have experienced, and I know what you're going through. And so I'm just sharing with you my experiences. Number one is this: superficial charm. Now, the word superficial, I think you probably already know this, but it means surface. It means it's not real. It's kind of like stage makeup, or if you like to wear makeup, if you're a lady, most ladies do. That's not real. I'm glad you wear it. By the way, I encourage most women to wear makeup because, hey, it enhances your product. It's kind of a courtesy to other people, but it's not real. That's not what you really look like. Now, I know a lot of women. While we're on this subject, I'm off the topic a little bit. I know a lot of women, they're just beautiful, more so, without their makeup on. But I'm not going to tell them that, because when I was a teenager, I got myself in trouble. I had a girlfriend who was so beautiful that I told her one time, I really don't think you should wear makeup. And then I thought about it, and I thought, who am I to tell this beautiful young woman that she shouldn't wear makeup? And I felt kind of bad about it. I wish I would have apologized to her. Point being, superficial charm. That is one of the traits of the worst kind of narcissist. They're fake. And like makeup, it's thin. You can't see how thin that it is, but it's thin, and it comes off with a little bit of rubbing, a little bit of tugging. Okay, it doesn't take much tugging. I don't know anything about makeup, obviously, but it's like a mask. It just comes off. So the narcissist does not want you to know that, obviously, but one of the traits, again, of the worst kind of narcissist is that charm, that friendliness. That's going to come off. And once they entrap you in their web, if you haven't already found out, you probably have, you're going to find out the hard way. Number two is grandiose self-value. Now, I told you at the very beginning, just a reminder, that what we're talking about is based upon my life's experiences. And one of my life's experiences that I don't think there's any studies that I have seen, academic studies or studies that have been done in school, at universities, whatever, that say that covert narcissists have grandiose personality problems. But my experience is they do. It's expressed differently than an overt narcissist. So they will express themselves, a covert narcissist will express themselves in a manner that says, I am better than everyone else. So they may not drive the flash cars, they may not live in the best house, they may not dress impeccably with expensive clothing just to impress people. If it's a woman, they may not spend hours putting on that makeup we were talking about before just to get the mail. But still, there is a grandiosity about even the covert narcissist that is very subdued, it's very hidden, and it's there. That's one of the traits of the worst kind of narcissist. So watch out for that. Watch out for that very subtle, that very hidden grandiosity. Number three is they are easily bored. Now, there are certain types of dogs that are just hyper. Mexican Chihuahua. What is it with those things? I love them, as long as somebody else owns them, but they just seem to be nervous all the time. My granddaughter owned a husky. Now, you talk about a dog that was happy, a dog that was busy, a dog that was easily bored. That dog could eat through anything. If you put a dog in a room, it would eat its way out of it if it had to. Those dogs, I believe, are bred to be active. And considering their job, pulling sleds around Alaska, I can understand where they would get that. Dogs that love the outside. Well, they're easily bored by nature. And it seems like the worst kind of narcissist is one that is easily bored because, and here's what makes this the worst kind of narcissist, is because that narcissist always, it seems, needs to be chewing through the walls, so to speak, figuratively, metaphorically speaking. No, I'm not saying people chew through walls, but what I'm saying is this narcissist needs to be chewing through, and again, figuratively speaking, the borders that you have set up on your life. They always have to be mingling with somebody else. They always, it seems, have to be interfering in somebody else's business, even if it's meaningless. I knew a narcissist one time, or somebody I highly suspect of being a covert narcissist, who would go into, say, McDonald's and strike up conversations with the other patrons or maybe the employees. And this guy would win their confidence because, you know, he had that superficial charm. He was just a nice guy on the surface, his stage makeup, and people would they would trust him. You know, they had confidence in him. I did. He was my friend. I thought. It turns out it wasn't. But there was one girl in particular. I say girl, young woman who was a worker at McDonald's, and she entrusted her personal information to this, quote, narcissist, unquote. When I say personal information, I'm not talking about security, social security number, or credit card number. I'm talking about her personal life. She talked about her bad relationships in the past, how she had several children from past relationships, and she just found this guy to be so loving and kind and considerate. Put all of that in quotes because it was fake. She just entrusted her personal information in this guy, and guess what he did with it? He took that information and began talking to other patrons at McDonald's and made this woman appear to be the biggest, I don't want to use the word whore on YouTube because I don't like to use that type of language, but that's what he did. He made it sound like this wonderful young woman was the worst kind of woman. Well, she was just loose. That's the way he presented her. Well, why did he do that? Do you have any idea? He was bored. You know, to him, that's just fun. He's like a husky. Just has to be busy doing something. And what narcissists, the worst kind of narcissists, do is they are busy tearing people down because that's how they get supply. And supply, as you know, if you've listened to my videos, supply simply means that they are supplying their ego with a booster of some kind. Anything that boosts the ego of a narcissist, that's what I consider to be supply. Number 4 is they are deceitful and dishonest. Now, we could do an entire video on this. In fact, I could do an entire series of videos on being dishonest and deceitful, because that is basically what a narcissist is. If you erased everything else, this seems to be the thing that stands out, that looms the highest. This is the Mount. What is the tallest mountain in the world? See what happens when you get old? You start to forget things. But whatever it is, this is deceit and dishonesty. That is the tallest mountain in the world of traits of a narcissist. I'll think of it as soon as the video is over, but if you can think of it, go ahead and remind me. So, how are they dishonest? Well, it begins with their life. Everything about them is dishonest. It's not that they tell lies, which they do. It's not that they steal from people, which they do. It's that their life is a lie. They present themselves to be somebody that they are not. I know everyone does that to some point. Everybody wears a little bit of stage makeup. Everybody dresses up just a little bit to put forth a good impression, and I'm glad they do for other people, just as a courtesy. But a narcissist, not so much. He puts on this fake, this deceitful, this dishonest persona, this fake personality, a fake background story, usually this fake excuse for why he can't seem to find a place to live, this fake explanation for why he never seems to have his act together, even though he is superior to everyone else. They're just flat out deceitful. They're flat out deceitful. Number 5 is, and this kind of goes hand in hand with being deceitful, is the worst kind of narcissist is highly manipulative. If you are engaged with a narcissist, the worst kind of narcissist, one thing you will find out about this person is he or she is manipulating you he or she is manipulating other people. These people, I said this in the video yesterday, is they see themselves as players, as very savvy, as string pullers in their social circle wherever they happen to be. And I've had some of these people in my life. And at the time, I was so, I don't want to say that I was so stupid, so I would say I was so dumb I didn't pick up on it. Dumber than a box of rocks. I mean, that, talk about a red flag, but you see these people who have to manipulate everybody all the time? That is the worst kind of narcissist, because where does that come from? Well, again, keep in mind, I'm drawing from Life's Laboratory, from my experiences, from what I believe, from what I think I've seen, but I think it comes from a deep-rooted sense of insecurity. They can't manipulate their own lives well, and they can't. They can't control their own lives. But they can manipulate everybody else. Okay, that gives them a sense of control that they know they don't have. Number 6, they lack affective empathy. Let's stop and talk about empathy for about half a minute. Now keep in mind there are many different kinds of empathy. There is affective empathy, and there is the type of empathy that is cognitive. Those are the two primary types of empathy. There are others that people talk about the most: affective and cognitive empathy. Well, cognitive empathy simply means that you are able to read, well, you're kind of like a mind reader. And that is, you are able to read the thoughts of other people by their expressions, by the tone in their voice. You can tell somebody's mad by the way they talk, right? Or they're happy by the way they talk, usually. Most people can do that. Now, I've got Asperger's syndrome. I'm really not a very good mind reader. But those of you who can do it, which is just about everybody except for me and a few people like me, the narcissist goes above board. And they have this sense of empathy where they are able to read the smallest body language. I was thinking the other day about Ted Bundy. Remember him, the serial killer? He said that he would choose his victims by the way they carried themselves. I mean, the way they walked. So, and I think virtually all of his victims were young women. How do young women walk that makes one different from another? Now, if I see young women go to a college campus, see young women walking around, you know what I see? I see young women walking around. That's what I see. But a narcissist will see subtle differences. They will see confidence in some. They will see a lack of confidence in others. They will see some individuals who are easy targets, who are low-hanging fruit. So they are very high in that type of empathy, that cognitive empathy. But what about affective empathy? Well, what is affective empathy? Easy. Just think affection. They just don't care. They have no love. They pretend they do. I mean, they know how to fake it very well. And during the love bombing stage, you know what that is? That fake affective empathy comes out, but they don't have any. The worst kind of narcissist, it's like a part of his brain never developed. I mean, it was never there at birth. That part of their brain, the amygdalae plural, just apparently didn't develop properly, so that they can't be effective. They can't show, or they can't have affection. They can show it. They can fake it. Number 7 is they have what I call a parasitic lifestyle. Now, I know a narcissist, a person that I highly suspect of being a narcissist. Okay, I know several of them, but 2 come to mind in particular. So these guys had this odd trait where they would live off other people. Now, one guy flat out said that the secret to life, he didn't put it in those terms, but he said the secret of life was living off other people's money. Now, typically when you say other people's money, you're talking about borrowing money to invest, capitalism, and then repaying the investment. That's not what this guy was talking about. He was talking about moving in to live with people and then not paying rent. Living off other people's money, getting other people. This guy didn't have a driver's license, by the way. I think it's because he had a court record that was so extensive that, and he had been sued so many times, he didn't want people to find him. But I think the reason he didn't have a driver's license is because he didn't show up to court one day, and the judge took away his driver's license. He didn't care. He just bummed rides off people all the time, everywhere. He was totally parasitic. He would move from place to place. He would bum rides from people because he didn't have a driver's license. And then he would sometimes even get arrested. From what I've heard, he would get arrested for driving other people's vehicles without a driver's license. So they are the worst kind of narcissist is very parasitic. That is to say, they latch on to people. Do you know somebody like this latches on to you and just kind of suck the blood out of you? What they're sucking out of you is supply, something that boosts their ego. So a narcissist moves into this guy's, maybe moves into his trailer or his apartment, or he may move into a family's spare bedroom, or he may find an elderly couple, move into their basement, whatever. And they do that temporarily from place to place to place to place, and they never pay for it. What are they doing? Well, they are getting supply from that. They are getting a huge ego boost from that because they're saying to themselves, I'm getting something for nothing. Number 8 is low impulse control. Another way to say that is they are impulsive. They act first and think later. I've known several narcissists, and there are some exceptions to this, but I know several narcissists who have no thought of the future beyond, okay, I'm exaggerating, but beyond a couple hours. Seems like their future plans, maybe, and this is honest, but an honest evaluation, but it seems like their future plans extend to maybe a couple weeks. They have no plans for retirement. They have no idea where they're going to wind up in life. They have no plans of any kind that we would normally call future plans. That is the worst kind of narcissist because, hey, they drag you into their life. They drag you into their web. And their failure, their lack of impulse control, the fact that they act first and think later, you're affected by that because you're a part of what they do. If you are entrapped by one of these people, with few exceptions, you need to get away from them if you possibly can. I know you might be married to somebody like this. Feel sorry for you. You might be employed somewhere where you have one of these people as a coworker. Yeah, I feel sorry for you. I mean, listen, you can't quit your job every time you encounter a narcissist because you just spend your whole life going from job to job, because I'm telling you. These people are everywhere, but they have low impulse control. Again, they act first and then they think. Sometimes they just act. There's no thought to it. There's no afterthought. They just act because, well, they're narcissists. They can't make a wrong decision. There's nothing to think about. If they want to do it, they just do it. Number 9 is they have very few long-term relationships. They may have a close family member that is a close friend, close relationship, but outside of that, almost none. Now, that doesn't mean a person is a narcissist. I don't have a lot of close friends. I don't think I'm a narcissist. Maybe I have narcissistic tendencies. Actually, I know I do because everybody does. But hardcore, the worst kind of narcissist, they don't have many long-term relationships because they view everybody as a source of supply. And everybody that has any sense doesn't want to be a source of supply, and eventually everybody builds boundaries. Everybody starts pushing the narcissist away or tries to get away from the narcissist, one or the other. And so, they're constantly rotating, cycling friends in and out. Some of them they'll try to hoover, back in so they get more supply out of them. But close friends, they've got this web of friends. Actually, they're flying monkeys. They have this web of individuals. I call it the narcissist cult. Some people refer to them as narcissists by proxy. Their little army, their little narcissist cult. Again, they've got those people. But if you observe them over time, the people in their narcissistic cult or their harem, whatever it is, they rotate. They leave and new people come in, and they leave and new people come in. They're constantly resupplying that little group of people, their group of long-term relationships. Number 10 is they don't assume blame. We actually talked about this yesterday, that one of the indicators that you are dealing with the worst type of narcissist is they accept the blame for absolutely positively nothing unless it has a positive outcome, and they take the blame for that every time. But if they have a failure, in fact, I think I talked about this the last 2 videos I made, but they can be caught on video. The worst kind of narcissist can actually be caught on video stealing, committing a crime. and they can explain it away. Well, they're lying because they're deceitful and dishonest. But as I said in yesterday's video, they will steal something, and they'll be caught red-handed on video. And when they're shown the video, they'll say, I just borrowed it. I was going to bring it back. You guys got me wrong. I'm a nice guy. I mean, I would never do that. Don't believe your eyes. Believe me. It's the way these people think. Worst kind of narcissist possible is the type of narcissist that will never assume blame unless it's positive, makes him look good. Number 11, lacks long-term goals. Okay, this is kind of what we talked about before when we said they have low impulse control. They're impulsive. So these people really don't look into the future because they don't think of it. Most people, sane people, rational people, we have a sense that we're going to get old. Well, except for me, I already am old, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. But most people, they understand they're going to be in their late 60s, their early 70s, maybe into their 80s if they're fortunate, and they're not going to be able to work like they did in the past, so they're going to have to set aside some money to live on. They're going to have some money to go to work for them, because they're not going to be able to go to work for themselves. They're going to have to make arrangements. They're going to have to work on retirement. A lot of people fret over that, sometimes too much, but not the narcissist. No, he doesn't fret about it, doesn't even think about it. The worst kind of narcissist, they have no long-term goals. They live day to day. Well, it's like somebody who has a drug dependency. What they think about is getting that fix, that supply, to make them feel good. It's what a narcissist does. Only it's not narcotics, it's that ego boost that he's after, or she's after. Day to day, I need to have my fix, my ego boosting fix today, and I got to prepare for it tomorrow. But what about the future? What future? Hadn't thought of that. Out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, this comes to mind. I got to say this. What happens to a narcissist when they get into their 70s and 80s? What happens is, from my experience, and again, this is life's laboratory, but my experience is they become extremely friendly. I mean, these are just the sweetest, kindest people you ever meet. It's all fake, right? Because what they want to do is to trick you into taking them in and take care of them. You are their retirement plan. Number 12 is this, criminal record. The worst kind of narcissist has a criminal record. I read somewhere, actually I've read many times, that about 20% of every prison population is comprised of psychopaths. What's the term? Comorbid with, it is often coincidental with narcissism. 20% compared to the general population, which I think is 1 or 2% psychopaths. These people, the rules are for everyone else. I talked about that in the last video too, but rules are for everyone else. They break rules. They break laws. Because of that, they have criminal records. They don't pay the rent. If they can get a car repair done and get away without paying for it, they'll do it. They don't think about it. I mean, yeah, because, well, they're smart, savvy, and they beat out the guy for some money. That's how these people think. Well, as a result, a lot of people will sue them. And as a result, the government may prosecute them for, check deception. Say some guy has a bank account and he keeps writing bad checks and he gets prosecuted. I knew a guy that was prosecuted once for check deception and the court made him pay it all back. Then he got arrested or prosecuted, I should say, for check deception a second time. And he not only had to pay it back, but the court gave him a suspended 1-year jail sentence. Do the trick, right? No. He was prosecuted. This is all public record, by the way. He was prosecuted a third time. And guess what? According to court records, they put him in jail. They had to pay it back and they put him in jail. They have a criminal record. Why is that? Well, that part of your brain that has a sense of, has an ethos, has ethics, doesn't seem to exist in the narcissist. And the worst kind of narcissist you will find has these 12 traits. Do you see those two rectangles on the screen? Are you enjoying our conversation? Hope you are. So if you want to keep on talking, let's do it. All you got to do is click one of those two rectangles and the conversation continues. But if not, thanks for stopping by. And hey, guys, see y'all next time.